I think dance is great.
I think dance is great for even people
I did
that
it the
don't
other
dance.
day.
You did a dance class?
No, specifically, I didn't go to a dance class. I did
Look
dance.
at how fast he cut you off. Like, I don't want to
you're
get
like,
into a
whoa,
dance
whoa, 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 whoa,
conversation.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going after this to
I'm
a
like,
dance
wait,
class.
show me videos or it didn't happen. I found myself on stage again, and for the first time in years, actually. I haven't been on a live stage like that since I was touring with Dancing with the Stars. But the live stage is really my first love because I was doing that with Burn the Floor well before Dancing with the Stars and touring the world dancing and performing. I was the lead in a musical, which I've also shared the lead with my Dancing with the Stars co-stars and on any tours that we've done. Same with Burn the Floor. But here, the show is called Esther, and I am Esther.
You are Esther.
What would you say is the first step that someone could take to reclaiming those parts of themselves that mean so much?
I have a tendency, as parents do, and really predominantly mums, we fall so much into the caretaker space and into the nurturing space, and it's such a big part of me, and I love it so much. But I knew that something felt like it was missing. I'm not saying I was unhappy, but it was this longing for, but not entirely knowing what I was longing for.
If you're not filling yourself up in some way, it sounds cliche. You are not as full to give to other people.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
the biggest misconception.
I am not going to be the only one leaving this room with a challenge.
Yes, you
It
are.
was too good of a
All
challenge.
three of us are going to leave here with a challenge. So what is yours?
Oldish, the show where age-old questions meet new-age answers. With your hosts, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
Welcome to Oldish.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back. All right, it's been a little while since we sat down, all three of
Brian
us.
has hair. I've got red hair.
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny when you said that before. I was like, yeah, I have hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a little while.
It has, yeah.
So today we're going to talk about life lately, but what we thought would be fun was that we are going to talk about experiences that we have had as of late and what we learned from those experiences, because I think life is happening so quick, as you said earlier.
Life has been lifing.
Yeah.
Life is lifing, and it's sometimes we don't stop enough. I know I don't, to reflect on what is happening and what I'm taking away from the experiences that I had. So yeah, let's get into the experiences. Sharna, you start us off.
Well,
Because
she had the biggest experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I had recently just got back from Houston. I found myself on stage again, and for the first time in years, actually. I haven't been on a live stage like that since I was touring with Dancing with the Stars. But the live stage is really my first love because I was doing that with Burn the Floor well before Dancing with the Stars and touring the world dancing and performing. And it was just so beautiful to feel that part of myself again. It was like soul food for me. And not only was I dancing, I was also acting. I was the lead in a musical, which I've also shared the lead with my Dancing with the Stars co-stars and on any tours that we've done. Same with Burn the Floor. But here, the show is called Esther, and I am Esther.
you are Esther.
And so that was also a really big thing, as Bri would call it in his world. That's like first on the call sheet type of stuff. And that was crazy to feel this responsibility of leading the cast and setting the tone for everyone too. And I think one of the greatest compliments so many of them gave me when we all wrote cards at the end was the way that I led the room and the energy that I put in it, how I made it such a safe, kind space for them. Obviously, a new musical being built, so many things can be stressful. And I was actually stressed, thinking I need to do more to like keep everyone together and whatnot. But apparently I did do a good job at that, which felt really good.
It's good to get feedback like that. Did you feel that leadership role? Did you feel when you got to Houston and you got on set that was your...
I felt... Yes, I felt it, and I think I felt the weight of it, and I also felt a little bit intimidated by it, to be honest. You know, I was in the room. It had been since before Zane that I'd really danced my butt off like that, and I'm watching all these kids, and I say kids because they're all in their 20s, but like
Kids,
you know,
Right.
I could be their mother, essentially.
Right.
And they're so brilliant and talented and busting it, and I was sitting there like, I don't know if I can keep up with these kids. having so much self-doubt. So that didn't make me feel like the leader in the room either. But then as I was in that space, and we had an incredible team that made it a very comfortable room as well, a very creative, safe space. And I got to know them, and we just built a family within there. And I did feel that leadership role because I do feel my maturity in that space with them. I do have so much experience of being on stage and being on tour and being a part of things like that. And they would ask me for advice, and they would ask about even TV and reality TV life and all these different things. And they really did look up to me for so many things. Skincare routines, makeup tips, like all of it. It was wild. And it was really cool to feel like the mother hen in that space. But at the same time, what I took from this whole experience, other than it being truly epic, and I can't wait to see where it goes, the goal is Broadway. But it was that because it's been so long since I've danced like that, and I have been deep in the world of parenthood with Bri, and it really has been even before Zane that I've danced like that. I've had a couple seasons on Dancing with the Stars, but that's not the same as dancing on stage. So feeling this part of myself again, I realized how much I need it and how much I'd been missing it. And how much I need to pay more attention to that. That, yes, I love being a mother and I love being in parenthood, but I also really do need to put time into manifesting, creating, and being in that dance and performance space. I love acting. I love storytelling. I love dancing. And so I have a tendency, as parents do, and really predominantly mums, we fall so much into the caretaker space and into the nurturing space. And it's such a big part of me and I love it so much. But I knew that something felt like it was missing. I'm not saying I was unhappy, but it was this longing for, but not entirely knowing what I was longing for. Maybe feeling like, oh, am I longing for those days of Dancing with the Stars again? But no, it's not that I wanted to be a part of that show and teaching a celebrity. I wanted to be a part of dance and feeling and expressing myself again. And so I've discovered that, yes, and I talked about this on my Instagram, yes, for me, we talk about this whole you can have it all thing, right? And sometimes I had felt like, how can I have it all in wanting to be in this space and being a mother and being present and a great partner and building that home life, but also desiring to have this other career that was me before these babies.
Right.
And how do I have it all? First of all, I'm incredibly lucky to have a partner like Bri that will hold it down for me when I'm off, flying and living my best life and chasing these dreams. But it's also me creating space for it. So the balance for me is being deep in and present in parenting and life and family life at home with Bri, and then also carving out that time where he gets to be deep in it and holding it down for me, and I get to go do the things that I want to do. And that there lies the balance. I felt more energized coming back from an exhausting 2 months at home. I'm even cooking more often. I'm more proactive just in life because my soul has been fed. And it's just so beautiful. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to hear you say that. It's such an important point that the effects of filling up your cup, filling up your soul, goes and permeates through the rest of your life, through parenting, partnership, is it makes you feel alive. And for so many people out there who might be listening going, is that me? Do I? What is that thing that lights me up? And what have I not been acknowledging that I might need to acknowledge?
Right.
So what would you say to a person who's like, but there's just, life is so busy and I'm driving around.
I was just going to ask you, I was like, how, for people that think like they don't have time to have those things in their life anymore. But it's
Which I would have said I didn't have time.
It's important to find those times or to make those times. Like what would you say is the first step that someone could take to reclaiming those parts of themselves that mean so much?
I think the first step is to actually become aware of the dialogue that you're having in your head. Potentially you're saying out loud to other people, but most of the time it's this internal thought saying, I don't have time, which you could even say is a belief, right? I don't have time to do that. Oh, how nice other people could do that, but I don't have the resources. I don't have time. And then the second step is say it out loud enough that you hear yourself say it, and then you take action in some way. And that could be one small step, but doing something where, I felt this so many times in my life. I see this with countless clients. If you're not filling yourself up in some way, it sounds cliche, you are not as full to give to other people.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest misconception is I'm going to take time away from my family where I'm needed, where I have to give. But I somehow I can't give to myself. And that's the message too that we give to our kids and the people around us is I have to sacrifice myself, as opposed to saying, this is really important to me. I recognize that this is something that lights me up. I have to be on stage, or I have to be dancing. I have to be moving. I have to be creating in some way. And taking time to do that also gives permission to your partner to say, hey, thank you for holding it down. There's more appreciation.
Yeah.
And can I tell you what's crazy? When I got divorced, the first thing that went through my head was like, oh man, I'm going to miss half of my kids' life. They're going to have a whole life at their mom's house that they don't have. So I'm not going to get to experience those things. And at first I went into it of like, just not feeling good about it at all, just dreading the experience. And then all of a sudden I started finding the fact that like, okay, I can recharge during the time when I'm not with them. I can do the things that really fill me up. So then when they do come back to me, I have this amazing connection because like you said, I've filled my cup up completely. So now it's like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on some part of my life because I'm back into the grind of everything. So I'm not suggesting that people run out and get a divorce.
No, but trust that you're like, you can be away from that life for a moment.
And for people to realize like, oh, there is such a positive that comes out of filling your own cup. And like you said, at first you have that negative thought of like, oh, I'm going to be away from my family. My kids are going to miss me. And how am I going to, even for an hour a day, do something? And then you realize once you get into it, like, oh God, that 1 hour away made the biggest difference in the world at home.
Yes.
Because now I'm completely connected at home. I feel like I've done everything that my soul needed to do for the day. And I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also working with identity too, because how identified do we become as the mother,
as the parent,
or the father, or the belief I have to be here. This is what it looks like because that's what it has looked like. So I do breakfasts every day, and I pick up and I do this, and you become identified with that role.
It's what we talk about with marriage too. Like it's important just as a husband and wife to do things for yourselves, to not. That you are at that point, once you have kids, you're not just then the people that take care of their kids and all the rest goes away. It's like, no, take your time and go do the things that you guys love doing also. It's amazing how, like when we do that, even if we go just one night a week and we go have dinner somewhere or we have that time together, you feel so refreshed the next day.
I looked at it, speaking of doing things together, a video came up on my phone today of Instagram flagging an audio, but whatever. It was a video I put up years ago of us when we did our shark diving trip. And I was like, oh, there we are.
For everyone to decipher, that is shark diving, just in case you didn't know.
What did it sound like?
Sounded like shock diving.
Oh, no, shark diving. We're diving
like shock therapy.
And it was really wild to see us. And I mean, we do make time for each other and we do things, but we've been waiting for finding that space for the next adventure that we always talked about doing before Zane came along and life got way more busy. And that's beautiful too. Those things went on hold. But I was watching this video of us just interacting and taking this trip, and I was like, oh my God, there we are.
Right.
Like here we are too, but there we are. There's that part of us that we also want to rediscover and bring back. And it does fall in line with the same way me now having been back on stage and feeling that part of myself. Again, there I am. I think even the red hair honestly helps with it because it feels, I talk about identity. It had its own hashtag, Sharna Red. You know, it was a part of my identity.
Did it really have its own hashtag?
Oh, no, it did. It had its own hashtag. Hashtag Sharna Red. It was its thing. People were dying
when
their
people
hair,
thought
my
about
hair
the
color.
show, it was like you thought about, oh, there's the one redhead that's dancing.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. Wow.
And so to have this come back in my life all at once, it was like, oh, there I am. And it feels so good to have it back. Even the red hair. Like, I think I'm going to keep it for a while.
And then some for her. I mean, she stepped into a situation in Houston that she's never done before. I mean, to be the lead of some, people don't, you speak lightly of like you're number one on the call sheet. But that's absolutely the truth. Like in being in this business as long as I have, the director and the number one on the call sheet set the tone for all of it. If either one of you are a pain in the ass or just out of your minds, it trickles down and affects everyone. You now are in Houston, number one on the call sheet with all of these kids that were your age when you were dancing before. So you recognize yourself in them, but then you also, I would have to assume, know, like when they're asking you for advice, it's advice you wish you had gotten when you were that age doing it. And you're like, oh my God, I get to be someone that can say the things that I wish I would have heard when I was younger doing it. Yeah. And that's so special. That's such an amazing like space to hold. It's
very cool.
It's an amazing
It feels
gift.
very grown up, and it definitely feels like the next era, the next stage for me.
Iteration.
The next iteration of me, this version of me, this, I don't know how to explain, grown, matured. I learned so much. I have so much to share, and to be
your
a part
voice
of something
really
like this.
matters.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
It's oldish in all the best ways.
Yes,
right?
it is.
I'm at this
oldish.
place that I get to share all that I've garnered and learned and now understand. I mean, very similar to parenting. And then you get to consciously go out and put that out into the world with the people around you. One question I think would be great for everyone to ask, given what you are talking about, is, am I online? And just
what do you mean by that question?
asking yourself the question, am I online right now?
Not like literally on Safari.
Right, online
searching
with
things.
who you, what feels right.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I'll give more
Like
context.
you're in tune.
please.
You're in tune with your. So that's why I was asking.
So back in the day, this expression came out. I'm dating myself. When you would have to literally, hit something, and then it was like,
Oh my God, the dial-up.
Yeah.
And the idea is, are you online? Are you alive? Are you that part of you that is not just the role of parent or partner or this sort of comfortable, almost sometimes complacent place that we get to, that it's a wonderful and beautiful place. As you said, life is lifing, but where there's that spark, that aliveness is just missing.
Yeah.
So to ask yourself, are you online? And it's okay if you say, no, not really. Is my relationship online? If you say, no, not really, that's okay, because it starts there. Then you can at least ask yourself, okay, what's going to bring me
I wonder
online?
if that is like a affirmation of the connection to your individuality, because I know like sometimes when you're in a family situation, in a relationship and things, you start acting in a manner of like, oh, it is all of us together. And is it sitting back and taking that time to make sure that you as an individual, you are in touch with that, so you are still yourself within something? You're not just now this repurposed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm now part of a team, and it's like, okay, well, but what if the whole team was out sick, and so then you had to, are you still there, or do you only function with the team now?
think it's becoming more self-centered. And I know people are like, self-centered, like, oh no, I don't want to be selfish. But I think we've sort of been fed this idea. It's gone the other way of like, can't be self-centered. You have to be selfless and give and give and give. But what I hear all day long from people is that they are giving, is that they're giving so much that they feel depleted. So just coming back to center, coming back to self and saying, what lights me up? What this week would give me more life, would make me happier, would put a smile. Me, not everyone else, not what everyone else wants for
you're
dinner.
Thinking all the time, right?
But what do I want?
I have a question about the like, am I online? How many tabs can you have open at one time? Is it possible to be online with all the things? Like I say, can you be fully present and online within parenting, and then fully present and online within your career, and then your friendships and your whatever? Or do you have to almost compartmentalize and know when you're giving space to each individual thing, and know that whilst you are away and deeply in your, say, your career, that you may have stepped away from being completely online with your kids? Or is like, what is that?
Is that what scheduling truly benefits?
How do you balance that?
I think it's near impossible to be completely present in all things all the time.
Right.
I mean, that is the practice of mindfulness. That is the practice of presence, is when you're with the kids, be completely present. If you're half working and half writing people back and
on your phone and
I understand,
I totally get it.
But the idea of focusing on one thing at a time, and when you're in Houston, you can't be online with the kids 100% because your energy is literally in a different place. And I think that's okay, because there's enough of you that you have given where you have been online, that those times that you step back and you're not as available, they still feel that connection. You're not abandoning, you're not pulling away, because you have already done so much groundwork and legwork to be online consistently. So you're showing them a different piece. I can love you. I can be here and be focusing on something that I'm deeply into, and still, check in with a phone call or a FaceTime, and they get to feel you and connect with you without having to be there all the time.
I totally get that. It's like being 100% present in that moment with kids is better than being 50% present with them and 50% present in, say, your career or work, right? Then no one's getting 100% of you or your potential ability value. But if you're with your kids and you're in it, your phone's away, and you're giving them that quality time, and then you step out and you go to maybe you go to a retreat for 3 days, and you are deeply in that space for you. Family life at home is okay because you filled up that tank. You filled up that cup with being 100% present.
Exactly. I mean, you both tell me as a couple, would you rather spend an hour together that's deeply meaningful, that you're connecting, maybe there's tea and candles, or I don't know, whatever it is, and you're sitting and you're in your backyard and you're deeply looking into each other's eyes and talking and connecting, versus having 3-4 hours where you're sharing space, but it's you're there but you're not really there?
Oh, I'd take the 1 hour any day for sure.
And I think children feel exactly the same way. They might say that they want you all the time, and I think there is something valid to just sharing space. But in terms of that real connection, that relevant connection that's going to fill them up enough to be sustainable, so that when you go away, it's taking those small moments of connection and in making them as impactful as possible.
Again, though, is that something then that you would suggest someone almost like scheduling and calendaring their day?
If that works for you,
to create space, to make sure that you have like the space for the things you need to accomplish, and then leaving room within it to, for people that are like, how, like, I'm so busy all day long, there's so much going on. How do I do this?
So the answer is yes. Yes. Scheduling, people schedule sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one could
We heard
say,
it from Miss Jaya.
right. One could say, oh, spontaneity and whatever, but the truth and the reality is that people are not doing it, or they're forgetting to do it, or they're so busy. So if that's what is happening, put it on the schedule, as long as you're adhering to the schedule, because we all have to-do lists. We all have things where, you know, it's that affirmation that you put on the schedule and, you know, you see it and then you just swipe away. So as long as you have buy-in and make a decision, okay, if I put it on the schedule, I mean business. I'm going to adhere to that. So when that pops up, that means everything goes away. I put away whatever I need to, and I'm fully present for that time, or I'm fully engaged in, if you're doing a writing session or a creative session, or if you're doing music or dancing, you're in it, and give yourself to that thing. Because in terms of presence practice, across the board, people will say that 5 minutes of presence that I gave, I feel so filled up. When I bent down to the level of my child and I was engaged in play and we were laughing and we were knocking each other over on the floor, both people get so much out of that. It's not just giving. You are receiving as you're giving.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's not always easy to do.
It's not always easy to do.
But it's such a worthwhile practice if you could get into it.
Yeah.
Why are the easiest things the hardest to do? You know, you would think.
Well, that's why.
That's why they call it the road less traveled, right? Because it's like it's the harder road to take. I mean, it's living consciously and in the moment is not. It's way easier to just kind of put blinders on and just sort of go through your day and get time done, and that's what most people do. But to take that higher road. The road it's less traveled for a reason. It's a difficult road. But the outcome, what you get from the end of that journey is amazing.
It is.
It's the connection you're talking about. It's the time that you're creating with people. It's like it's the realness, like being there for yourself, being there with someone else.
Yeah. You know, I had a experience that touches upon this. I went to Bali a little while ago.
Yes, you did. I wanted to ask about that.
So, I mean, there's so much to share, but I'll share what's relevant to what we're talking about. This idea of simplicity. So I knew that Bali was a very spiritual place. A lot of people talk about it, but I was so busy before going that I didn't think, I just didn't have a big expectation of what it was going to be, which I think was good. We got there, and what I quickly started observing is the simplicity of small actions. I would talk to the people who were working at the hotels, and I tried to talk to as many people as possible and really get the idea of what life is like for them. And, you know, they start the day with reverence, with some sort of prayer or meditation. They give these offerings. These little
always
baskets,
have offerings,
right? The little weaved baskets, and they will take rice, they'll take marigold flowers, they'll take whatever they can and offer to whatever deity. And from that standpoint, my nervous system, my mind started to calibrate to the simplicity of life there. And I might be oversimplifying. I'm not saying that people don't have problems and don't deal with things, but there was a certain amount of joy and happiness that I saw in the people there, and presence. We would talk and they would sit and talk, even though, you know, there were other things going on. People would sit and talk to us for 5, 10, 15 minutes without feeling like they had to go. You know, when you can feel that someone is rushed to get somewhere else.
I feel that all the time when I'm talking to people, because my body is on the clock of like, I've got stuff to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I started to not feel that when I was there. And so I, being one who just reflects a lot by nature, I started to think about, what is this that I'm going to take from this experience? And I had some very spiritual resetting experiences that we'll have to talk about later when I was there. but my thought pattern started to change. My internal prompting of go, rush. It's like what is in front of me is important. And there's so much texture in Bali. You both were there. Every wall is carved and there's design in everything. And there's even just the colors of black rock with green plants and yellow, bright orange marigolds. And there's so much that bombards the senses that I got to just look around at art and life all around me. And I noticed that when I came back, I had to really fight to not just go back into the way that things were, the default patterning of life, because I was there long enough to get a reset. And so speaking about simplicity and
interesting
presence, I think presence is found in simplicity. You know, with the day and age of information, it's like we skip over. It's so easy to skip over the simple things of just being with two people in a room and sharing that space, the space between us, right? Or being at a dinner and not thinking about what we have to do tomorrow and all the things that are happening in our lives and the mental hamster wheel, and just being there and focusing on what's important. Because we all know at the end of the day, someone gets a health diagnosis, some major catastrophe happens, and things come into focus really quickly.
Yeah.
So we could just try and focus on what matters most more and go back to basics of simplicity. I think there's real richness in the experience that we could have. So that's what I took from Bali.
That's so beautiful.
Interesting. Yeah.
Life is not simple. Yeah, we don't make it simple, but it could be. I should rephrase that. We forget that life could be more simple. Yes. We allow our brains to fill with everything. There are things that live rent-free in my head that have no business being there. And they're constant. They take up space, but they're not today's problem. They're not even tomorrow's problem. I'm making up shit 10 years from now that might happen. It is ridiculous where my brain goes because it's on that hamster wheel and just gets more and more speed. And oddly, I find that hamster wheel hasn't been spinning as fast because I got to go and dance and feel a part of myself and feel fulfilled, get some soul food and feel more balanced.
Yes, that's it
and
right
it's
there.
So interesting as you're speaking, I'm putting those two things together that I haven't been as chaotic up here since having this experience, and also, having been home and in my family life, things just feel much more.
It's making sure though, like Randy said, that you don't fall back into the pattern of what you were doing before you were.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
That is what's hard.
Of recognizing the lessons, the things you learn, and then reapplying them in your current situation. Because it's tough, like, you go on a vacation and you have no responsibilities.
Right.
You're kind of, you're on this clock of like, I'm going to get up at the time I feel like getting up, and I'm going to like go do the things as I feel like I want to do them. And then you get back home and you're like, oh, life again. Okay, I've got to be up at 7:30 so it's like really recognizing the things you gained and then what you can re-implement back into your current life. That's the important thing. That's a hard thing to do. That's a really hard thing to do for people.
It is, yeah. But I think that is the work.
Yeah.
If we can realize that it's possible, because sometimes it just doesn't even feel possible, but to know it is possible because we're living in a way, we're living in our minds. So we can even recognize that and say, okay, wait, I was on vacation and it was really good, but I can bring that into my life if I choose. Yes, it takes a little bit of work, but I can do that.
It's almost like, it almost seems like training your mind to wrap itself around the concept of the vacation not just being the time that you're out of town, but it being this 1 month, so it's a whole thing. It's like, okay, the being out of town and the vacation is part of it. It's part of the experience. But then it's like coming home from that and applying it that way. And so you make it something bigger than just this 1 or 2 week trip that you do. Going, okay, yeah, I'm going to go and completely unplug and completely decompress and all that. And then I'm going to bring that back. And so my vacation is now 2 months instead of a week, you know? Yeah. It's like plant medicine. It's like you go through the experience of it and then going home afterwards and going, okay, now how do I implement the things that were downloaded from that experience?
Right.
It's the integration process.
Integration, yeah.
And that is...
it's recognizing, though, that is all something, instead of it just being this one short trip or this thing or weekend getaway.
That's where it's at, is really the integration. It's not the journey itself, because that's actually somewhat short-lived.
Yeah.
It's how you then use that to reset things and repattern.
That's really interesting.
What, as a question for anyone that's like, okay, so what do I do? And, I don't know what it is that I want to do, or what it is that is my soul food, or what it is that's going to help me reset. I would suggest people find a dance class to take. That would be me. Physical movement, there's something that it brings up in your body, but that's because I'm a dancer and dance is my soul food. But
it's getting in your body somehow. I think that is definitely a big one.
Yeah.
Whether it's dance, I think dance is great.
I think dance is great for even people
I did it
that
the
don't
other
dance.
day.
You did a dance class?
No, specifically, I didn't go to a dance class. I did
Look
dance.
at how fast he cut you off. Like, I don't want to get into a dance conversation right now.
I'm like, I'm not going after this to a dance class.
Show me videos where it didn't happen.
I did it to get in my body. To literally just see what it's like. Sometimes I'll do creative drawing or whatever, just to see what that's like, because I experiment with things that I can then help people with. And it is a phenomenal way to get in your body, because you look at little kids, they don't know what they're doing, but they just move and they dance and they twirl, and because they feel it in them.
Yeah.
So that getting into your body through physical movement of some kind is huge.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, if you feel insecure about dance, then I'd say take a yoga class, or find something that is a physical action. Take up tennis somewhere, or pickleball, whatever it is that feels exciting. Something that you don't have to turn up with a partner, where you could just go for your own sacred space. And there are dance classes like that. But yeah, for me, I feel like it's always in a creative field. There are paint and sip classes for people to go to, where you get a canvas and a glass of wine.
Channel your inner Van Gogh.
Channel whatever comes out.
I was told it was not Van Gogh.
Oh, really?
Van Gogh.
Well, I've been saying it wrong.
And I was scoffed at.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Yeah.
How dare you say it wrong? But yeah, that's what I would say, or some people need a thrill-seeking thing for a reset. I don't know what that is. That's not shark
escape
diving,
rooms,
but that's
shark diving.
I do like escape rooms,
Yeah.
shark diving. Something that is a big one for people is just ask the question. If they don't know what that thing is there anything you used to do as a kid? Is there anything that you used to really like that you had fun doing? Because a lot of people will be like, I used to love to sing, but my voice, or they stop it with some sort of excuse and barrier, as opposed to, I used to love bowling, or I used to love this sport or that sport, is just doing it without the focus of an outcome, but do it because there was a part of you that was alive when you did it. And if you could just do it, perhaps you might become alive again without needing it to be a certain outcome.
Right, without it being attached to being a successful singing career.
I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden
I play golf because I want to be the greatest golfer in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Which is why I quit playing golf. Because I got to a point where I was like, I would spend, I'd go to the driving range 3 times a day. And then I'd go out on the course, and if I didn't hit it perfectly, I wanted to break every club and quit playing. And I'd get so
just
frustrated.
anger management.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, what am I doing this for? Like, I literally one day stopped. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to put these clubs in my garage. And I didn't play for like 6 years.
Oh, yeah. that.
Like I had to do it.
You have to find something.
I had to do a
else.
complete turnaround.
That wasn't the correct reset.
Right.
That was not the thing
that's
that
not.
Bryce should have been doing. His is DIY for sure.
But now I have that thing in my head of like, God, there are like I would at some point enjoy getting back into golf in a healthy way. And I'm not sure if I can accomplish that. Like
I hear a challenge.
I feel like there's still that part of me that is like, I'm going to pick up a club and then I'm going to want to be great at it again. And then I'm going to hate the fact that I'm not.
Okay, so by the time this airs,
I don't like these challenges.
I know, right?
I'm
He's
going
like,
to
"Nah."
challenge you
I cannot hear you,
out.
Randy. Right?
to go
Your
play.
microphone seems to be cutting out right now. I'm not hearing it. And what's crazy is I don't have headphones on and nothing.
So strange.
Yeah.
Strangest thing.
Yeah. Sorry, what is the
I see
the
this
challenge?
for you? Yeah, golf shirt and all, but the golfing challenge.
What? And I'm supposed to be excited about this?
Yes. Yeah, because if you were doing something that felt so aggravating that then you wanted to break stuff and you put it away and you haven't done it, it's just changing the relationship to it. Like, how many times do we all have an association? I mean, I hear weekly people, I want to get back in the gym. I want to exercise. I want to eat better. I want this level of success. I want to go for this thing, but I just don't feel I have the drive anymore. I've tried and it doesn't work. All these things where if you just changed your relationship, just do it just literally to have fun. What does it feel like to be human, grabbing a club, swinging it, and connecting with the ball? You'll tell us when you
You'll
took
tell
the
us.
challenge, right?
Challenge accepted.
And then we'll post it.
Yeah, I'll go to the driving range.
He's so pissed.
So Jeff will go to the driving range with me. No, I mean I'll go. Okay.
Oh, Brian got quiet.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah, look at him. He's like,
I'll go to like I'm not excited about it because I know there's
you
going to
and
be.
Jeff, a friend of ours, Jeff, you would have the best time.
So we would go to the driving range every once in a while, but I would feel that thing of like when I wasn't hitting well of like frustration,
Right.
immense frustration, and then we haven't been for a while. But I know if I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, driving range," he'd be like,
Let's
"Bro,
go.
let's go."
That's why so many
Meet you
people
over
don't
there.
do art because they have a picture in their mind, then they try and draw
And
it
they
or paint
can't.
it, and they can't. And so the disconnect there, again, there's just a thought that comes saying, I can't. This doesn't feel good. And it brings up all the other things where you can't do it. It doesn't feel good. So this time, just let all that go. Do it for the exercise of it.
That seems so difficult. Like it really does, because I am passionate about the things that I do. Like I don't, it's.
You can be passionate about playing, but you can be
Sure,
passionate without
but-
having to be a perfectionist.
Ooh, passion without perfection.
Without perfection.
T-shirt.
There you go.
I love it.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right.
Try it, baby.
There
All
we
right.
go.
I so
Wait,
have
what
one,
are
but
your
I'm not
challenges?
No, I have one,
Hold
but I'm
on
not
a
bringing it
second.
up.
Wait,
No.
I just noticed this.
No,
I
I'm
am not going to
gatekeeping
be
it.
the only one leaving this room with a challenge.
Yes, you
There
are.
was too good of a
All
challenge.
three of us are going to leave here with a challenge. So what is yours?
Why do I need a challenge?
Why do I need a challenge?
Because you brought up golf. That's your thing.
So because I spoke openly about something,
Yes.
I then okay.
What would my challenge be?
I don't know.
What could we challenge Randy with?
Don't shift it all to him. You see, I saved you right there.
Right.
We've run
I've got
out of
your
time.
back.
Oh, it's been such a great episode,
Such
you
a
guys.
great
Thank you
time.
for joining
Take us out.
So challenges. Come on, let's keep this going. Mine is I'll go back to the range and play a little golf, and try and not get so worked up about not playing as well as I wanted to.
Is there something else that lights you up? That because I think you'll continue to dance and perform, but maybe it's something even in that genre.
Right?
Where-
Is it creating your own words? Like
Right.
You're going to
Right.
go to an improv or
So right now, in a nutshell, because I know we have to wrap up soon, but it's dance and it's acting for me. But whilst I was away and on Esther so many producers included were like, you can sing, right? Because they'd hear me singing in the room. And I was like, no, I can't sing. I get lucky. I hit a note every now and then. That's about it. And they're like, no, you can sing. And because I have presence and I love being on stage and I can say it, I'm very good at it. Mm-hmm. And I got so much praise for my acting. They were all like, you should be in musicals. You should be doing these things. There's so many. I was like, is there anywhere I don't sing? They're like, yes, it's a play, but there's not as many. And so the encouragement was that I should also be working on singing. And I have this childhood belief system. I don't even really know where it started. I loved singing as a kid. My mum even put me in singing lessons. I think it was something my dad said one time where there just wasn't time for me when I was doing that, or I haven't done the deep dive to know really where it started. I used to sing for my parents all the time in a hairbrush. One of them was "I'll Make Love to You." It was a very awkward moment. Boys to Men.
She was like 6 with a hairbrush singing "I'll Make Love to You."
I think I was 8. Wasn't great.
We have time to get into all this.
We do, yeah.
No, it's
so
okay.
I don't know exactly where it started, but somehow I have this belief system where I'm actually not good at it. Now, when I sing and no one's listening, I can sing to a degree. Like, I haven't trained the muscle, but I can sing. But at the minute you give me a microphone, even karaoke, even if I've had tequila, it doesn't matter.
You freeze up.
I sound like a 12-year-old boy whose balls just dropped. Like, it is just, the voice cracks. It is not a good time for anyone. And so it doesn't go well. And then there we are. I'm back in my little box. I can't sing.
All right. This is a great one. So what's
Damn
the
it.
challenge? Self-challenge. What do
Yeah,
you challenge
there you go.
yourself to do
I
that feels
don't-
appropriate?
I don't have
Yes.
time.
Right. I don't have time to sing.
I was literally about to say I don't have time.
Are you going to do a show at the house in front of the kids? Like a song performance?
No. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't think about that.
I mean, it's a lot of people in one space.
You know what's funny? I had the opportunity to be in Chicago on Broadway years ago.
In the play Chicago.
In the play Chicago, the musical Chicago. And I did the first round and I sent in all that jazz and I just needed to go and do the full audition in person. But then Dancing with the Stars offered me a tour for a ridiculous amount of money and I was like, oh, I must take the money. And I was the unhappiest. I should have done the other thing, but I was afraid of it. Anyway, I digress. What am I going to do? I guess I have to be in singing lessons. Do you know what I mean? I need to make time to discover that part without there being, to take your advice, the goal of me being in a musical. Because the minute I think about doing it, as far as it being in front of people, I freeze. And I get this feeling all over my skin of like, I can't possibly do that. Which is why Chicago was such a big, easy for me to walk away from, because the idea of being on Broadway and tanking was an absolute no for me.
Why are you pointing at me?
Because I want to make sure that we get to your challenge before we wrap this
Brian's
up.
pointing at me with eyes, and I'm like, what?
I just don't want us to look up and go, oh, wow, look at the time. And we're the only 2 people that are doing a challenge. There's got to be something
Of
that
course.
takes you out of your comfort zone. That used to be something that would push buttons a little bit and and would
Light
rock the boat.
Light you up.
There's got to be something where you you by your own will get in that boat and rock it and go, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to come out of this okay.
That is a good one. I've challenged myself in many ways over the years to do that.
Yeah.
I guess it would be, I don't know, is there something that I could share more that I don't normally share?
Is there I know you like to have, I don't want to say, because you're not controlling, but I know you like things being the way you like them to be.
Right. That's a nice way of putting that. Again.
Well, but it's again, I don't think it's a negative for you. I think you've come up with a real good constructive way of dealing with all of it. But is there anything where you can let go a little bit
I've had
and try that?
gluten-free pizza once a week for the last 3 weeks.
Whoa.
You are not going to have a gluten-free pizza challenge. That is ridiculous.
This is big for me. I
Singing
let that
and
go.
golf and then gluten-free pizza? No.
I ate on a plane. I didn't do the squeezy pouch. I did the squeezy pouch once, and it became this whole thing between Brian and I. This might sound ridiculous, but it is something for me. To go outside every morning, every single morning, and take the time that I don't take. I'll do a 2-minute ritual, in my bed or my bathroom to actually go outside and give an offering, kind of what I saw in Bali in some way, where it is uncomfortable for me because I am doing breakfast and all that, but I could just take 5 minutes and go out because I haven't done that, and it's something that I've thought about.
Okay.
Does that work?
Cool.
That works.
It's a start.
Okay.
It's a start.
It's a start.
It's nowhere near as big as ours.
No,
just
it's
so
not.
you know.
It's not golf.
But I think that's also because you challenge yourself all the time to do the things that we're now being challenged
Whatever.
to do.
He's not that.
No, I'll come up with a good one.
He's not that awesome.
I'll come up with a
awesome.
good one.
He's pretty awesome. I mean, he's Randy.
All right.
We love you, Randy.
Thank you.
Oh, look at you
I'm
blushing
blushing
over
over
there.
here.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Take us out.
Take us
That's
out.
on you,
I
baby.
can't do it.
I think just people, now that we are on YouTube, I think if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe what it is you're watching. If you're just listening to this, go over to YouTube and watch it because what we're shooting here is glorious. Like and subscribe that, please. People don't realize how valuable a like and subscribe is.
It's huge.
Because
It's huge.
it allows people to then want to promote and help us monetarily to continue to make what it is we do.
It also helps us
here.
get bigger and better guests for you. The more subscribers we have, the bigger names will want to come on and be a part of our show. And we love doing that for you guys. So yes, please like, subscribe, share it around to your friends. And thank you so much for joining us
Yes.
on Oldish.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, if you're going through something right now, if you need additional support, then please reach out to me at randyspelling.com/help or go to my Instagram at randyspelling. Thanks.